right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to 22 Panels. This is the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I am Tyler, and across the interwebs from me is Tad. How's it going, Tad?
You're getting way better at that. Maybe we don't need an actual sound effect. He's
Yeah,
got it down
got
now.
my
It's the web shooter
Spidey
sound.
flips. Yep. Anyway, across the interwebs is Tad. How's it going, Tad?
It's going well. Today, we have Ram V rejoining us, and we get to meet Dan Waters for the first time.
Yes.
And we get to talk about their amazing interconnected comics, The One Hand and the Six Fingers. So, hi, guys. How are you today?
Doing all right. Good to be
All
back
right.
here. Nice to be chatting with you both, and good to see you too, Dan.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a minute, right?
Yeah, it's been like
3 days. 3 days, since we
maybe
did the podcast?
24 hours.
So do you,
Yeah, they're actually in different rooms of the same office right now. I mean,
so you guys, just so their listeners
breakfast
are
this
clear,
morning.
you guys are share a studio, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean it's a
not a
virtual
physical space.
studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're both in London at the moment, so we see
So
we see
the
more
whole
of
the
each
whole
other
city
than,
is
than
our
most people in
studio.
comics.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Every pub in the city is a studio.
Every pub in this.
Is a potential studio because
Yeah, I
we
was
have
about to say,
standards.
London has a lot of pubs. So, I mean, if you're hitting
Mhm.
every pub in the city, I don't know where you have time to,
We're working on it.
Right. How many Guinnesses equals bad writing?
We'll let you know when we get there.
So
Yeah, exactly.
what time is it in London right now?
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not too late.
Yeah, it's noon our time, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you guys give the pitch because this is I don't know that I mean every once in a while you see like a novel or a movie where, they'll go back and forth point of views between a detective and a criminal that they're going after, that sort of thing. I mean, not with serial killers, but Michael Mann did it fantastically with Heat, going back and forth between Pacino and De Niro. I can't think of a time where there have been two comic series running at the same time where people were attacking the same story from different angles. And I'm loving what I've seen so far. Thank you for slipping us issue 1 of the Six Fingers ahead of time so that we could get all granular with it. I am paying for one too. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow.
oh yeah, I'll be buying.
Thank you. You didn't lose any money, Dan.
I've already pre-ordered it. I mean, I've obviously the One Hand I have, but the Six Fingers
Right.
I've already pre-ordered it for tomorrow. I'm doing it digitally.
So talk to me about how it came about, and what the experience is like.
Well, Ram texted me at about 2 a.m. In like 2019, I think, and he was just like, "Are you up? I've got this idea."
I like that you mentioned it with the year, so it just sounds like a weirdly specific thing that I did.
Right.
Yeah. See, it's
Was it
I mean,
2
it's the only
a.m.
time
on
you've messaged
every
me,
night of
so-
2019, or
I mean, sometimes it feels that way. That's kind of how the virtual studio works.
one letter
But-
per night, or a whole word?
It's usually a brain download from someone in the studio,
Okay.
depending on who is particularly avoiding writing a script at any given point in time. But yeah, no, Ron messaged me and he was like, "Oh, I've got this idea." He'd been sort of reading a Cormac McCarthy novel and listening to a podcast, which he keeps saying that I recommended to him.
Pretty sure you did,
and
yeah.
it was sort of sometimes you just two things will sort of collide in a really great way, and you have this spark of something new. And so I think Rom had this idea of the idea of doing these two books, and like immediately we sort of started talking about it. And I think by the end of that night we kind of had the skeleton of the thing.
So it's been building for like 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's a complex
Considering-
it's a complex project.
Yeah.
And also sometimes, especially with creator own stuff, you want to let things sort of sit and stew and mutate and change over time so that you get to a point where you're both like, okay, yeah, this feels like something interesting now beyond just the skeleton. So
Very cool.
Um,
And
so
do you remember what the podcast was, Ram?
oh yeah, it was Philosophy Bites, and they were talking about post-work societies.
Okay.
nice. I'm gonna have to check it out. Philosophy Bites. I like podcasts like that.
Yeah.
So how did you get to decide on who got to do what perspective? I mean, because the first one we read was the one hand, and so Ram, did you always want the perspective of the detective?
Yeah, I would say that that was one of the things that we already discussed that first time we had that conversation. Also, I think we discussed the fact that I didn't know what the killer's side of the narrative was going to be.
Sure.
And because I'd already had an inkling of what the detective needed to do, I thought it made complete sense for Dan to be like, okay, I'm just going to build this story from scratch, and then we were going to be reacting in real time to each other's stories, if you will.
That's really cool.
So, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I definitely have a sort of like a penchant for writing sort of horrible narcissists between sort of Lucifer and Loki and many of the things I get offered. Um, so it did feel like a no-brainer, I think, as well. It was like, all right, yeah, you do the goodie, and I'll make someone really nasty.
So, when did you
If you've
start
been following me for a while,
writing for real? How did you pick artists? I love the way I like didn't manage to pull things up in front of me ahead of time. So if somebody can remind me who designed, they did a fantastic job of melding the books together with the design
Yeah,
to make
Tom
them.
Miller.
Yeah, so the one hand is me and Lawrence with Tom on design, Lee Lowridge on colors, and Aditya on letters, and Will Dennis editing. And Six Fingers is literally the same team, but with Dan and Sumit on writing and art duties. So pretty much everything other than the writing and art stays the same across the two books, and that's why there's that sense of like continuum, and that these two books are kind of made in a similar way, if you will.
Did
It
you?
took us quite a while to nail down the sort of art teams, just because we knew we wanted something that could, because we knew the ideal reading experience we wanted for this was to be able to jump between the two books, and we didn't want that to feel jarring, but they had to be distinct from each other. So finding Lawrence and Samit to, you know, like two artists who have like very distinct styles from each other, but can still really harmonize, I guess. That was a big part of the equation. That it took us quite a while to nail down.
I mean, also very full credit to you, Dan, because when we started out, I was thinking more like, oh, artists who should feel quite similar in the way they treat the art, and then I think as we started talking about it more, I started agreeing with Dan's view that the art had to be different, maybe of a type, but it had to be different enough for it to feel like there's a reason these two things are different. They're written differently, they're drawn differently, they're two different books, but they are circling around the same fundamental truth, if you will.
So where did the idea come from to put it in the future in like the 2800s? I mean it's not just a future story. I mean, it's really future, you know.
Yeah, I think without spoiling too much, I think that's very much built into the idea of what this is. And quite frankly, I don't think anyone knows or should know, even after reading the first two issues, quite what this is.
No.
So there's very much a mystery at the heart of it all, and there's very much a sense of like you're going to be putting this thing together to all the issues if we've done our job correctly. So
right. Yeah, I'm very excited to see where it goes. I haven't read the Six Fingers yet. Like I said, I'm waiting till tomorrow to get my Jones for the next part of it.
Silly boy.
I don't read the solicits ahead of time. I like getting them when they come out. But
I know. But that's like one of the coolest parts of our job is we get to see stuff ahead of time.
So, Ram, was Ari based on anybody you know, or was he just a character that you would come up with, or?
I mean, like most of the characters in my books, they're based off of people I know, me, like the whole suitcase story.
Yeah.
Barring the cousin stealing it from someone, is me.
Okay.
We had someone who had given a suitcase with confidential documents to my dad, part of who was a business owner at the time, and they'd forgotten to give him the combination. And while my dad tried to like find this person and call them and try to get the combination, I just sat there for 3.5 hours and just went to like 0001.
And just did it
that
one digit at a time.
Yep, one digit at a time, because that was the only way to make
would
sure.
have been me. I feel like I did not with anything as high stakes, but I feel like I did that with one of my dad's briefcases. Thankfully, a 3-digit combo.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but it's just I thought that I've thought back to that moment about myself and gone like, okay, so I'm generally a very impatient person, but I can be patient if my brain decides that something is worth it. So I think that's an interesting trait for a detective to have,
Right.
because you can sit around for years and not solve something, and then when the time comes, when the right clue drops, when the right opportunity presents itself, you still have to be ready. You still have to be switched on, and that takes time and patience and presence of mind and alacrity and all of that. So yeah, there are little anecdotes like that I put into the story, which are of people I know or me or something like that. So I think most stories end up being better if you have pieces of yourself in the character, which makes for a very interesting question to then put to Dan. So Dan, what part of you is the serial killer?
Yeah.
Sheer neuroticism. I think, I think with like the Hannes, there was an interesting chat because I sort of like I was sort of blowing smoke about writing a sort of horrible narcissist, and he kind of is. But I also went into this, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a serial killer story per se, or writing stories about very, very bad people. But at least around the time when we started this project, I wasn't really interested in. I didn't want to be writing a guy who was sort of like hanging bones from his from his house lamps and sort of had like skulls in his fridge and all this kind of stuff. Like I didn't want to do a sort of like Dharma kind of thing. I was fascinated by that show. I can't believe that got made. I can't believe that went through every process with them still going like, yeah, this is what we're making. I wanted to tell a story about someone who was more sort of neurotic and obsessed with control, and the sort of nature of the story. Especially if you, I think it's kind of clear from the premise is that these murders are something that is happening to him, in terms of he doesn't remember doing them, and there's a mystery for himself. And so having someone who wants to have control of their life, and doesn't have it, I think is just a universal. So it's just about turning the dial up on that a little bit.
I also think I mean,
Go ahead.
it's turned out this way, Dan, because of the choices you've made in writing that character. But I think it's a super interesting wrinkle that, I mean, technically both books are detective books.
Right.
Just one of them sees themselves as the hero, and one of them is seen as the villain. And I suppose in some way the question is really going to be like, is that true? And it's up to the readers to figure that out and make up their minds about it. So
Very cool.
Well, and I'm fascinated by some of the. I'm kind of comparing the two comics just side by side without rereading, but as much just looking at the visuals and the Ram. Your comic is much crisper all the way through, which I assume is because you've got this detective that's been working on it for God knows how long now. Um, and
Yeah,
therefore,
it's much more
has
structured and
right.
has
And
a certain level of discipline and um, causality, linearity to the work.
right.
Whereas I think
Whereas
that's part of the reason I was, yeah,
the six fingers, when like the scene at the beginning where you're actually seeing him do the serial killer stuff, um, the panels are clearly hand drawn. The lines are not as steady. And then throughout the book, there's kind of a mixture between structure and uh kind of
chaos.
chaos. Right. Yeah. Chaos. So in both cases, I think that the design work itself really brings out the feeling of the characters. Was that something you thought about as you were scripting? Is that something the artists picked up on and brought to it? I mean, I'm always fascinated at how that sort of thing comes out because the best comics have that both the words and the pictures bring out the story on crazy levels.
Yeah, I mean, I think both Lawrence and Sumit are very thoughtful artists, and certainly in my conversations with Lawrence, there was very much this sensibility of like, okay, we have to make it feel methodical and deliberate and patient. There almost has to be this kind of rigid structural design aesthetic to it. And I imagine part of what happens in Six Fingers is, Dan's recognition that the book needs to feel different, but also Sumit, who did, very structured work in These Savage Shores, choosing to go that different route with this book. But I'll let Dan speak to that more. Dan?
Dan.
Yeah, I apologize, but before I do that, my internet connection has gone haywire.
No
Okay.
problem. Okay,
Well,
so we just
no.
during our interlude right here,
oh, Dan's back.
I'll ask really quick, Ram. I haven't gotten a chance to listen
Yeah,
to
I
it.
need to.
Need to reboot?
Yep.
Okay, I need to. I apologize. I need to reset. Yeah, I need to
Yeah,
reboot.
no problem. No problem.
I'll be right back.
We'll
Go
make it
for
work.
Dan's camera
Yeah.
comes on and there's a cipher all over the
Right.
wall.
And it's just a hand.
Ram, you just brought up These Savage Shores, and I have
Yeah.
been meaning forever to listen to. There's an audio version of it. Were you involved in that? Have you heard it? Are you happy about it? Not happy about it?
I've heard it. I wasn't really involved with it too
Okay.
much. If I made it, I don't know that's how I would make it.
Okay.
I think part of it is that they just read out panel descriptions and then they do the voice acting. The voice
Okay.
acting bits are really nice, but it becomes really
They're actually
think-
reading out the panel descriptions.
yeah. And so what that does is it interrupts the dialogue so
Right.
much with description that you can't really follow the train of thought with the dialogue. And
Okay.
so yeah, I think you would have to adapt it to a different
Right.
medium rather than
Yeah, no, I
just
haven't gotten
vocalize
to it.
or
Yes,
verbalize it.
I
Yeah.
was hoping so much that it was going to be like Neil Sandman adaptation where it's like the perfect
No, I think there's a level of production
companion.
quality and yeah. I think it needs to be adapted rather than just sort of transcripted, if you will.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's a shame. Because I think that that's a area of comics that could be explored more. And I don't even mean like adapting so that you don't read the comics. I think like my favorite experience and what I was crossing my fingers was going to be the experience with These Savage Shores. But my favorite experience of Sandman is to sit and look at the pictures
Mhm.
while listening to the audio play.
Mhm.
so that I can be immersed in the sounds, both
Yeah.
dialogue and whatever sound effects that they put together, while not having to try to read well looking at all the pictures.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
did something very similar when that came out. I would read completely different bits of the run and then listen to
right,
completely different bits of the run. But I think cumulatively, so when I was reading, my brain would remember what it
right,
sounded like, and when I
right,
was listening, my brain would remember what it looked like. So
right. Yeah. And I'm just always looking for interesting ways to explore and expand the medium. So when I saw that, it got put on my list, and then I got busy, and now it's lower on my list.
yeah, I mean, frankly, I think this is part of the reason why, at least if the creators are interested, it always pays to have creators involved in adaptations of their own
Absolutely.
work, because it's very difficult to come into something from a reader's perspective and know how to make it,
Right.
unless you bring a point of view that is so singular to it that it is remade almost in that image rather than trying to be a replica of a different medium, if you will.
That
So
was a good way to duck a question.
he's back. Dan's back.
No one remembers. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll do some fancy editing, and no
These
one will be able
Savage
to tell.
Shores interlude is over. And now, Dan, what were we talking about? We were talking. It was your bank code and your
Oh yeah,
mother's
yeah,
maiden name.
That's why his internet went out.
Yep.
yeah. Security systems in place.
Funny.
So yeah, talk to us about how the art came together on Six Fingers.
Um, yeah, I think we spent longer looking for an artist. I mean, we did actually talk to Samit early on, um, and but then we thought he wasn't going to be available. So we went looking elsewhere, and then he became available, and it was party poppers and champagne all around. Um, and yeah, Sumit and I had worked. I mean, obviously, Ram and Sumit have worked together like a whole bunch, and These Savage Shores is annoyingly a masterpiece. But
Wait a minute.
Sumit and I
You
had
guys
worked
don't just
together.
automatically support each other at your studio. You've got
We do, but
I
we do
take
it
that.
brickishly.
To be clear, I take that as the highest compliment
Okay.
for
Okay.
Dan to be going. Ah, Dad, that's annoying. How good that is. I'm
Okay.
like, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
It's also just how the British do compliments. It has to be couched.
Okay. Okay.
That's funny.
But Samina and I had we'd worked on like a 6-page Adam story for DC, for like a horror anthology thing, and really enjoyed doing that together. So we'd really hoped to get him for this, and we did, and then yeah, it's just been a really easy process. The whole team sort of likes working together.
That's good.
And to go back to like kind of, I think the thing you were asking about the sort of structure and the pages being structured or the panels being structured and things. I think those were things that didn't. I don't think that's a conversation that say like Ram and I had. It's just we both know what we're doing, as
Well,
in
yeah.
both creative teams like know what they're doing in terms of what kind of story they want to tell and what a page will need. So I think those are the kind of joys of doing this kind of thing is that there's huge elements of crossover, and Rob and I were sitting down at all points to make sure everything's in line. Um, so literally what we're going to do after this call is sit down and talk about the very ending of the series, just to make sure everything's like totally in sync. But there's also the joy of just like going away and then sort of making a bit of the book, and it wasn't all made in sort of a one big petri dish, and that was kind of the
Right.
point. It is two books. They are two separate books and separate stories that have a third story that's sort of told in between them.
And
And I think like
there's
you'll also
also that
see.
element of reacting, right? So like I imagine
Mm,
maybe not so much in the first issue, and those were I don't know, germinating choices, but certainly from there on, we've been reacting to each other's issues because we've seen parts of
Oh
the
yeah,
move.
big.
So I imagine the same is true of Lawrence and Sumit. They're reacting to each other's work as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's
no,
like, like without getting too into the sort of craft weeds, there's the beginning of
Craft
issue
are
two is
fun.
where Johannes is really trying to grab hold of control, and so we do open that up with sort of like grids, and that's less hand drawn. It's more, it's more like sort of ruled grids and stuff, and then that sort of collapses throughout the issue as everything goes fine and he solves everything.
Right. Um, talk to me about what's in a lot of ways the third character in the book is, I mean, you've said that it will become more important as we go, so obviously don't necessarily spoil things, but you have a really carefully crafted future where if you're not paying attention, it's easy to look at this book as if it's in the present. But then you look at,
Or the past, even.
oh
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. Um, but then there are the little things the I mean, um, whether it's the the glitch at the brothel or the working in the regularly flooded um
Oh, man.
I guess we
Power
call it a
plant.
power factory, but it's regularly flooded with absolutely untenable amounts of radioactive material. Um, uh, talking to me about how you crafted it, I feel like it's reminiscent of a lot of various um British and European sci-fi. I can see some Inkle in it. I can see some 2000 AD various stuff in it. So I mean, how did you build your world? And how much of it is built versus how much of it is we have these minor tenets that we kind of think about as we're working.
I mean, the world is the way it is by intent and by design, right? So it serves a very important function in the story, not necessarily one that is evident right now, but one that will become evident
Right.
in time. And so if you think about that as a functional element of the plot, then it kind of defines itself what it can and cannot do, what it must and must not do. And also, I think there's a lot to be said. And the reason I brought up the idea that it might look like the past, I think there's an element of people being able to recognize these tropes, like you said, like,
Yeah.
oh, it looks like 2080. It reminds me of Incal. Yeah, people have said it reminds them of Blade Runner, and there's a reason
Definitely some Blade
why.
Runner.
There's a reason why it reminds you of all of those things, and that is meant to be something that hopefully you will reflect on when the truth is revealed to you. This idea of nostalgic sci-fi, this idea of a promised future, and this idea of maybe preserving our idea of a promised future for some reason or the other. So I think all of those things are part of the narrative. So I don't want to give away more than I already have, but yeah, so it is very much that by design, and so we had to be careful in terms of what we could and could not do in this future.
Yeah, I
Yeah, and I
love.
think a lot of the elements, the sort of ones you mentioned, came about for story reasons in one of the books or the other, and then as we sort of build off each other or sort of bounce off each other's books, they become important to the other stories. So a lot of that stuff grew very organically. But I also always like a future that still looks real. Because I don't know in what year we're meant to sort of like tear down all the buildings and replace them with Jetson buildings. But
Right.
I think the truth is we're probably still stuck with this like ugly London brutalism way into the way into the future.
It's
If
old
it's still
school. It's
standing.
old school concrete as well. That shit will last for hundreds
Yeah.
of years.
I mean, I literally just pulled up a page in each of your books that would fit completely right now, completely in the 50s, but then you start looking at little things like, oh, the
Yeah.
subway is way too modern and the train's running on both sides of the track. And
There's also a kid on a hoverboard at the bottom
right,
left.
right. You know, so it's like, oh, wait a minute. No, no, not quite the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
and
because
the
Yeah.
street is being cleaned by a robot on the
right,
in the Six
right,
Fingers page. So
right. With a vacuum cleaner on
mhm.
the street. Um, and you know, as you look at the clearly newer buildings, they have just that little bit more futuristic edge to them. But then you've got the rooftop water tower.
Yeah.
You know? I just, um, yeah, I think it's really
But see, this is great because, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but this is the intent, right? People should be scrolling through the pages of a detective comic, a detective story, looking for clues about what this is and how this is going to play out. And I love the idea that there are these minute details, both in the narrative and the visual narrative of the book, that add to the element, that are things that you're supposed to be questioning. You're supposed to be going, what
right.
the hell is this?
Well,
It's always tickles me when sometimes reviewers are like, I don't think this looks like 2873, a rare misstep by the authors of this book. I'm like, okay.
A rare
You're not
misstep.
a very good detective.
right. I also think it brings out one of those unique aspects of comics because I mean, sure, you could create that street in a movie, but it goes by too fast to really
Appreciate it.
experience it.
Right.
To get the real feeling of what's going on. And sure, you could try to describe it in prose, but how do you describe it that doesn't suck the life out of it?
The thing about describing it in prose is then you are calling
Highlighting it.
attention to it.
Yeah.
You are
Right.
zooming in on it.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's definitely something, you know, it's one of the strengths of the medium.
I mean, I just finished and I talked with and if you guys haven't gotten to see a copy, pick up Mary Tyler Moorhawk by Dave Baker. It was just brilliant. But part of the reasons it was brilliant is it was set in the future and like perfectly set in the future without ever bothering to like really explain anything. You know, like half the book is like fanzine type writing, but it's assuming that you just live in that year. It's not trying to, and that's one of the things I love here is like, I'm not going to bring out that, oh, look at this hoverboard because we're in the future. It's just there. You need to try to wrap yourself around what it is to live in this world.
Mm.
That's a fantastic thing for a reader.
Working as intended.
Experience.
Yeah,
Well,
it's great. I love
yeah.
I love all the little Easter eggs in there and little things. But yeah, as far as detective comics, Ram, did I hear that your run is coming to an end? Correct?
Yeah, that's right. With 1089.
Oh,
1089. It's been a great run.
oh yeah.
Thank you.
We talked to you
Thank
right
you.
at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
We are talking to you at the end of it. So it's been a great run. Dan, your backup stuff was also fantastic.
Yes, you guys
Thank
have
you.
killed it.
You guys are as if you haven't done enough writing together. You're writing a Creature from the Black Lagoon story as well.
Yeah, the creature
Yep.
from the Black Lagoon lives.
So how did that come about?
Long story short, I think Alex Antone at Skybound was already talking to both of us about doing Universal Monster books. And I had expressed an interest in doing Creature. And I had made a pitch to him. And when it came time to actually start working on the book, I realized that part of it was also that I was signing the DC exclusive. And so I couldn't work on it. And I didn't have the schedule to work on it. And Alex at the time went like, do you think Dan would like to do it? And I went, well, you'd have to ask Dan. And so I did reach out to Dan and I went, I was kind of a little bit hesitant because I didn't want to like saddle him with an idea that I came up with that he now had to stick to, if you will, because that was not part of the deal that he was originally talking to Alex about. but then I mentioned Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Dan was like, "Yes, of course, I'm on board."
I think
So
you mentioned an approach to Creature from the Black Lagoon, and
yes, that's right, that's right.
that was it.
Uh,
Like,
it was the True Detective, but Creature from the Black Lagoon. Um, that which was the easy elevator pitch, if you will. Um, I think that's what sold Dan on it, and Dan was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll do it."
yeah,
So yeah, so the concept uh, originated here, but Dan has kind of made it his own, and
So
uh,
Dan's doing the work, but you get to slap your name on it. Is that what you're trying to say?
yes,
Yes.
that's exactly how this works.
That's the
same as it ever
advantage
was.
of having written the book that he's so jealous of.
So funny.
He's like
Well, to
coattails.
be to be to be fair, I had the very same reaction. I mean, I had the very same reaction to Dan's face when I read Coffin Bound as well. So I remember calling him and going like, "The fuck? I don't know how you did this. What is this?" And so yeah, I mean,
I,
it's
I'm
lovely.
I'm sorry to say it, but also like before I did it, you were like, "I'm not sure that's gonna work, dude."
Yeah, exactly. I read issue one and I criticized the way he was writing the dialogue in that book. And I was like, I don't know, it feels like too attention cally, too attention grabby. Feels like you're trying too hard. And then I went all the way through and I went like, okay, that works. Shit. I don't know how you pulled that off, but that's great.
That's
And
awesome.
That's
so
that's the best feeling, like writer to writer, is like, especially when it's someone you work closely with, and someone you sort of know very well, and they'll still do something and you're like, I have no idea, I would never have thought of that, that would never have occurred to me to do this thing. And that's what you're always kind of looking for, like
I mean
in reading other
that's
people's
also when
work as
you
well. It's
know that
exciting.
that's also when you know like that a writer's doing something that, at least to my mind, only they can do, which is what voice is, and which is what, like having an interesting POV is. So yeah, tremendous respect to Dan, even if I do get to slap my name on the cover.
Coffin Bound just jumped to the top of my reading list. My apologies, Dan. I was rereading Homesick Pilots today, which
Oh, thank you.
was something else.
Yeah, Coffin Bound's a book I'll always be extremely proud of. It was the first thing I did with Danny. And it's one of my other favorite collaborators other than Casper, who did Homesick Pilots. Um, and yeah, it was a real swing for the fences. So I'd be interested to know what you make of it.
Well, I will let you know. I'm loving the write up right here. Cars, guns, entropy. You got me pretty much right there.
Cars, guns, entropy. I like it.
And then chased by an unstoppable killer, which seems to go against entropy, but I'm down with that.
Well, entropy is a high concept, is an unstoppable killer. It's kind of
That's true.
the kind of
That's
place my
true.
head goes.
Okay. I like it. Um, anything else you guys have on the horizon you're allowed to talk about?
I mean, I think we have a bunch of individual things on the horizon.
Well, I mean, that's good things to plug.
Yeah, Dan, you want to go first?
Yeah, what's announced? Doctor Who. I'm
Yes.
Oh,
writing
nice.
the new Doctor Who book with the 15th Doctor. So we're relaunching that with Free Comic Book Day,
Okay.
which I'm really looking forward to. It's been a lot of fun, sort of working with Titan and the BBC on that, and getting all these sneak peeks of what's coming up. That was definitely a sort of bucket list British
Yeah,
comic
I was about to
writer
say, is that something that
project.
like you've grown up with Doctor Who and
Hugely, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was just about the right age. I was 11 or 12 when the reboot happened
Okay,
with Russell T Davies.
right.
So I've watched it pretty religiously since then. It's just a great format. It's a guy in a box that can go anywhere and just kind of wants to help, and that's that lets you tell any story. So I'm doing my best to tell sort
All
of
I
every
ask,
every
and it's
kind.
only because my son was a huge Doctor Who fan, and he was trying to get my wife and I into it. Did better with me than my wife. My wife, he chose an episode that involved I forget which artist, but she's an art history person. So like she immediately went, no, that artist never would have behaved that way. So if you're going to use any art history, do your homework, just for my sake.
That might be the Da Vinci episode, which I
I
think
think it
is like
was.
I think that's one of the most
It was either Da
critically
Vinci or
acclaimed and
It might have been
award-winning.
Van Gogh.
Oh, Van Gogh. It's Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's Van Gogh.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was the Van Gogh episode. And she's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not Vincent. No.
Exactly.
If, nope.
I don't know. It's a good show. My fiance is from New York, and she'd never crossed paths with the thing
Right.
before, and when I got this gig, we sort of sat down and watched pretty much all of the Matt Smith stuff, and she's utterly hooked, and she's
I'm
horrified
more of a
at
Tenet guy myself, but
the
you
nerd
know.
I turned her into.
Very cool. If you're in Chicago, I know that Patrick Brower at Challengers is a massive Doctor Who fan, so you know they will happily have you sign and
Oh,
whatnot.
cool. They're everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else cool on the horizon?
Doctor Who.
I think I have about
Pretty
6
cool.
books coming out this year, and I think that might be the only one that's
Only one
announced.
you could talk about.
No, we understand.
So
Yeah.
lots coming from Dan Waters. Watch for his name. Ram, you're wrapping up Detective. You've got one
Dawn
hand
Runner
going.
coming out next month.
What?
Dawn Runner coming out next
Dawn
month,
Runner?
which is a mecha kaiju
Nice.
ghost story romance comic, body horror comic, with artist Evan Cagle, who's doing all the covers on Detective. So yeah, that one's super exciting. We've been working on that for a while. That comes out in March, I think mid-March. And then I've
From
just
Dark
started.
Horse?
Yeah, from Dark Horse. Rare Flavors is still coming out, so that will
So
get
good.
collected
So good.
at some point around middle of the year. And then I'm gonna be starting work on my first distillery book.
Oh, you're on
yeah,
the
that one's-
distillery list too. Very nice.
Yeah. And that one is with Joel Jones on the art, so
Oh, nice.
quite exciting. It's gonna be horror, but like
Okay.
opulent, beautiful, poetic horror.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's doing
and
two
then
books. I
and then
thought
a
she was
couple
doing
of
something with Stephanie Phillips.
no, that's just a short story they
Oh,
did
that was
for
just the short. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
for the anthology.
Well, so
Um,
many of those anthologies were chapter one of the next
Yeah,
thing.
a lot of
that
them were, yeah,
That's where my head went.
yeah. A lot of them were, but yeah, no. So we're gonna be starting work on that, and I have 2 other DC projects that I'm working on that are unannounced, but
Unannounced.
yeah, I imagine I'll work on those 2 for the better part of the year. They'll probably be announced closer to like later half of the year or something like that, later quarter of the year.
Very, very cool. Before we let you guys go, I have to ask my favorite question to ask. It's even more fun when we've got people who are friends and comics geeks together.
Right.
Tell me about 1, 10, however many wind up popping into your heads, comics that you adore, that you don't have enough people to talk about, that you talk about them with, that you're like, how have you not read this book? This book is amazing. Why haven't you read this book?
Oh God, like I could go through like a whole list.
That's what we
Um,
like.
Um, where can I start? Okay, a lot of these are artist driven as well, so I don't know how
Okay.
many people have read Breccia or Breccia. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I forget I think it was called.
I'm looking it up right now.
I can't remember the title because I remember it.
Who's the artist?
Breccia,
Oh,
B-R-E.
Breccia is the art. Oh, Alberto.
Yeah,
Alberto.
yeah.
Mort Cinder.
Yes,
The
Mort
first
Cinder,
one that's brought
right.
that up.
Yeah.
Trying to remember
I-
who told me to read Mort Cinder
Mort-
before. I've got it queued in my Kindle.
It's a glorious, glorious book.
It just went higher.
I will admit that one almost feels like a shame to read on Kindle though. Like I am
Well,
I am a big
Yeah, we
doesn't-
got the
guy. I move around a lot.
hardcover. Yeah.
But that,
I
yeah, the
will
hardcover
say that
with the soft hardcover, like it's a beautiful
when
artifact.
when
Yeah.
I wind up loving things, I wind up purchasing them.
Multiple
But I'm a
copies.
teacher, and I am constantly on the run, so things get read much faster when they're digital. And then when I love them, they get to fill up the shelf space that I'm running out of room on. But yeah, no, that I know that that's been recommended before.
Yeah.
And then Dan, you want to go for one?
Don't know. I'm moving around a lot at the moment, so my comic reading has been kind of limited to digital. So it's been the going back to the good old superhero stuff. I'm rereading New X-Men at the moment, and I've forgotten how
Okay.
good that was.
The new X-Men was awesome. Yeah.
The Morrison?
Really, yeah, Morrison's New X-Men, just incredible. Just that's how you do it. That's how you do comics, superhero comics.
This
The
is
other one I
where I'll
read, which
quickly
yeah,
plug on his Substack. He and Liam Sharp have done two what they call teaser comics, where they're just like 15-page things that are like proof of concept that have just been amazing. Like Poison Peach and Eden's End were the name of the two of them, something like that. That I wish more people were paying attention to because they were really cool. Grant's Substack has been a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I'll take the next one. I'll go superhero as well. I'm reading the Starman omnibus.
Starman is so good.
Yeah,
So good.
Robinson.
Yeah.
And who's it credited? Hold on. It's Robinson, Tony Harris, of course, and Wade Grawbadger. Yeah, that's who it is.
Right. Yeah, that was so good. That was
Yeah, I ordered the two giant, thick, fat omnibuses, and I've been going through those. And then I've also been, just to add to the superhero stuff, I've also been reading the original Wesley Dodds Sandman compendium as well. Yeah.
like the original.
Yeah, the Mystery
Yeah.
Theater one.
Or the Mystery Theater.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mystery Theater one.
So the
No, I
Matt
meant original
Wagner-
as in the character. Yes, the original
Right.
character rather than
Matt Wagner and Steven Seagal, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. I read that recently too. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna.
the other one.
Dan gets one more.
Oh, I know. I got.
Can't shortchange him, man.
No. Go ahead, Dan.
The other one I read that I feel like more people should have checked out was the Brian Hill's Wildstorm book, Michael Cray.
Oh yeah.
That was a very cool book that I only
Brian
got around
Hill
to reading.
does good work. Period. I like pretty much everything he likes, but yeah, Michael Cray was
It's very cool. It's
very, very good.
Like more grounded versions of the sort of mainline DC superheroes in the Wildstorm universe where they're just horrible psychopaths. So it's very much up my street.
Wait a minute. I thought you said that this was your first street with psychopath. Oh no. That's right. It made sense for you to write the psychopath.
Yeah, I mean, I did do 2 years on Lucifer, so I've had a little bit of experience with that.
A little bit of experience.
Yeah, but you wrote him as such a likable character.
He was a likable.
He only flays about 5 people.
But that's the real psychopath.
At least two of them deserve it.
At least.
At least 2 of them deserve it. Oh, I feel like that has to be the best ending point.
Yeah, that's a good ending.
We'll definitely be in touch. I'd love to talk to you guys again. Ram, always a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure.
Dan, we'll have to bring you back without Ram, so you're not in his.
Thanks for having me.
Constantly on his coattails. You've earned it on your own. I said that
I
just to get the
wish.
look from Ram. To be honest, Dan, every time I've talked to anybody from your studio, we've talked to Ram, we talked to Alex Packnadel. Is there anybody else in the studio? Or is it three of you?
Brad O'Sullivan.
We haven't talked to him, but they're always like, "Have you read what Dan Waters is doing right now? You got to go read this."
That's true. We do get a lot.
No,
of
my
Dan Waters.
favorite Dan Waters complaint is that, and I love saying this because it's also slightly embarrassing to Dan. I don't know why, but I always remind people like Dan is 10 years younger than me, and the idea of what he's going to be doing 10 years from now, when he is the age I am right now, is both exciting and very, very annoying and intimidating to me. So, yeah, no, I love Dan's work now, but I also feel like, yeah, just watching Dan kind of push into things that he hasn't pushed into yet is going to be exciting for me, but also like readers and comics in general.
You sweetie.
Aw.
All right, kid, your turn next.
What are you going to say about the old man, Dan? I say, thinking that Ram, you're like my age, so I can't really call it man.
I feel very old. It's okay.
That's funny.
I mean, I do have grandkids, so
Yeah, Tad,
I mean,
at your age, what are you, 43, Tad? And you've got
43.
grandkids already.
Oof. Not wasted any time.
No. Two grandchildren at 43. Yeah.
Congrats.
That's funny.
They're wonderful. And my son's doing great with it. So we can say congrats now, but it was touch and go for a little while.
Well, when young kids have kids, that's what happens.
Right.
Anyway, guys, I have to jump off. Got to get my daughter off to the
So
doctor.
why don't you take us out, Tyler?
Absolutely.
All righty. So thanks, Dan. Thanks, Ram. We really appreciate you guys coming on. Tad, it's been awesome. To our listeners out there, we'll catch you guys after the next page. Later. Hey, guys. This is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22panels podcast.